Plane geometry. Plane geometry is when you're dealing with just two dimensions. So you're dealing with things that are only length and width. Yes, okay, there we go. So another way to think about this is you're working with a flat board. You can say that I'm working with a flat board, okay, and I'm drawing on it. So you have a flat board, or just like this flat piece of paper that we're working with, and you're just drawing things on it, okay? We're not going to be talking about a third dimension. We're just talking about, things that I draw on a flat board. So one of those things is there's a lot of vocabulary. Let's just go through it. A line. A line means that you go in one direction forever, and then you go in the other direction forever. That's what a line means. Okay. Now, a line doesn't have an endpoint or a start point. It's just a line. A ray is like a sunlight. So if you can imagine the sun on this board, if we could draw it, because that's what we're talking about, is drawing on a board, right? So if you can imagine the sun, and then it shoots light off in every direction, right? Well, that's what a ray is. A ray says it has a starting point, which we can call the sun, and then the light emanates from there, which means it's going to shoot in every direction from that spot. That's what a ray is. That's why we call it a sun ray. Parallel lines. This is two lines, again, a line. So remember, we're adding more vocabulary, right? So line means that you go in one direction forever, and you go in the opposite direction forever. Lines are also straight. There's no bending to them, okay? So if I'm talking parallel means you have one line, and then you have a line right next to it, and it is the exact same distance from one side of it, from one point to another. This distance does not change between these two lines. You can call it like a parallel street. There's two streets that run alongside each other in the same direction. Perpendicular. Perpendicular is kind of the opposite of what parallel is. Perpendicular means that your lines cross each other at one spot. In fact, the angle that these two streets hit is something called a 90-degree angle, which means it's a perfect cross. It's a perfect cross. All these guys, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. And it does not change. Vertical. That's another vocabulary word for up and down. Horizontal. That's another vocabulary word. Now, what it means is it means laying flat. Line segment. Again, line, that's a piece of something, right? A line. Segment means a part. So you have a line, but you just have a segment of it, which is just a part of it. A line segment has a start and an end. Angle. An angle is created right here. This is where the angle actually is. It's the distance between this line here, colored in blue, and then I'm going to color the other one. I'm going to color a different color. It's colored in red. Okay. So the angle is the distance between one line or one ray and another. Now I said ray because they both start right here and then they shoot off in two directions, right? So that's what we would call a ray. And the angle is created between these two rays and its distance. And you're going to measure that with something called a protractor, or if you've ever seen something that looks like this, Starting to draw a hamburger, right? Something that looks like this that has little marks all the way around it. And what you would measure is you would use that protractor and you would put it over this angle, and then, or this, sorry, yeah, this angle, and you would find that distance. But we'll demonstrate that later. Mainly, it's important to know right now what this is. Now, remember that spot that I told you where they both start at? That has a vocabulary word too. It's called a vertex. Now, vertex is used in lots of language. You've heard the word apex. It has part of it, right? Sounds like it a little bit. Remember, apex is height. It's also where they meet in the highest point. Vertex, it's where two angles meet or two angles start. That's what you call that. Intersecting lines. What this means is that you have two lines, independent, and they cross each other at some point. This means that these two lines are intersecting.